Hey everybody, this is Dan here from the Magic Center. I'm going to be recording a Pioneer video with Field of the Dead ramp, some sort of Hour of Promise Field of the Dead deck. So this is the day after Felidar Guardian got banned and whatever else, I guess it was Leyline and Oath of Nissa. So I've been playing this Field of the Dead deck in Pioneer for the past week and it's been pretty solid. I've been really happy with it. The only problem it had was that I could never beat Felidar Guardian decks. So that issue's gone. I originally got the list from the original Pioneer 5.0 deck dump. Uh, I changed a few things. That list was playing 30 lands, but it was a pretty similar base, playing 4 Supreme Verdicts. I think that one had 4 Sphinx's Revelations, and then just using Hour of Promise as like a pseudo. It's Hour of Promise is like combining Escape Shift and Circuitous Route from the standard deck. It's kind of doing both of the things that you needed to do. So, going through the list, as you can see, I have 29 lands. One of the issues with this list actually is getting color screwed, which is kind of funny considering there's 29 lands. So you can only play a limited number of colorless sources, especially considering you run 4 Field of the Deads. So for colorless lands, I have Blast Zone, which has been really solid for me, especially against a lot of like aggro decks that don't really that kind of just play into the card a little bit sometimes because they don't expect you to have it. So Blast Zone has been really good. I have Field of Ruin, which is colorless but kind of fixes your mana eventually. It's been good. And then 4 Field of the Deads, which of course is like the engine of the deck, and I would definitely not suggest playing 4. Then other utility lands we have is Castle Vantress here, which is been solid. There's not a whole lot of value lands per se, but Castle Vantress has usually been good enough for me to kind of scry into a value card as opposed to playing like Arch of Orzaka, which draws a card every turn or something like that. The problem with Arch is that it's colorless, so you definitely need the color sources in this deck, and Castle's been good enough for me. So in terms of value lands, you have Castle, you have Fabled Passage, which is great for generating extra zombies. You have 2 cycle lands, which, with 29 land deck, a lot of times the deck floods out with lands. So the cycle lands have been good, and they're also forest plains, so that things like Sun Petal Grove and the check lands, I guess, can come into play untapped. Then you have 3 scry lands, which have all been pretty solid. Temple, Temple, Temple. And then 2 life gain lands down here, which have been fine. Not great. Coming to play tap kind of sucks, but the colors are important. And so for the deck list, we have 3 Arboreal Grazers here. Grazer has been like it's kind of like a must play. Um, you can't really play the Mana Dorks because you need the land count, and Grazer is card disadvantage, but against some decks you just need it. Flooding out on Grazers is like the worst feeling in the world, so I cut it down to 3, and I'm pretty happy with it. But maybe you play 4. I don't know. I'm playing the 4 Growth Spirals, which is like the best card in the deck. If I could play 10 of these, I probably would. And then I'm playing Walking Ballista, 2 of these main. I originally had these in the side, but I brought them in basically in every matchup. They're always either average or good, so they're never really bad, which is why I like them. Sometimes you just need to kill like a Llanowar Elves for 2 mana. Other times you need to kill a Planeswalker or stop it from ulting for a turn or something like that. Or sometimes you just play it for 10 mana. It's a 5/5 that if they don't kill, they're basically going to lose. So Ballista, I have 2 of those. Um, Maybe they're not as good anymore without the cat combo in Pioneer, but they've been really good, so I'm just going to leave them in. I have 1 Spring to Mind. It was in the original list that 5-0'd, and it's been fine. I don't really know what to play in its place. It's been solid. I cut it a lot, but I haven't been disappointed with it. And then I played 4 Elvish Rejuvenator, which is a really good ramp spell. He'll a lot of times he color fixes you. He sometimes finds Field of the Dead if you need. And then of course he chump blocks pretty consistently. So Elvish Rejuvenator is one of the best cards in the deck. I'm running 2 D-Spheres, the Tension Sphere, which is just a catch-all removal spell. Works great with the Fairy, which I'm running 3 of. The Fairy's been excellent, as always. Then here's the meat of the deck. You got 4 Supreme Verdicts, which makes your creature matchups or aggro matchups pretty good in game 1. It's just been a solid card. Uh, yeah, enough said. Our Promise, another meat card of your deck. Usually you cast this on 5 and you will get 1 Field of the Dead plus something else, draining 2 zombies, and just giving it a really high land count for you to cast Sphinx's Revs or just 2 spells, two cheaper spells. It's just a great card. I don't have any deserts in here. I don't think it's worth changing the mana base just to create a few extra zombies with the desert ability, because it says here if you control 3 more deserts, create 2 black zombies. But you're already generating the zombies from Field of the Dead, and they're usually enough. And then we have the card advantage spells. We have 1 Dig Through Time and 3 Sphinx's Revelations. The original list had 4 Sphinx's Rev. I cut it to, I think it was actually 4 Revs, 1 Dig, and I cut it to 3 Revs and 1 Dig. And Rev has been just solid. A lot of times you're casting it for 3 or 4 or 5 is generally the average number you're casting it for. And if it's anything more than that, you pretty much just win in the spot. It's just been really solid. Not super dominant like it was in standard, but it's been really good. So yeah, we'll go on the sideboard now. Sideboard, I have 3 Rest in Peace, which has been just really solid against Phoenix decks, Dredge decks, just random decks, decks using like Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise, Jeskai Ascendancy decks. It's just a really good card. I like having it. And then I have 2 Settle the Wreckage, which is against the aggro decks. It's kind of just like Supreme Verdict, count 5 and 6. It's also good against things like Phoenix decks, Blue Red Phoenix, just because it exiles and stuff. And then of course it's great against Boggles too. A lot of people don't usually see it coming. And then I have 2 Lyra Dawnbringers, which has been great against mono red decks, basically any creature deck, any aggro deck, and when any deck you play against will usually set out removal post board too. So Lyra's been really good there. I'm super happy with 2 Lyras. And then a random Blessed Alliance, just gaining life, killing creatures. It's good against the blue white or green white Boggles. So it's been fine. It's a flex spot though. If you want to play something else, you can. This would definitely be the first thing I would cut. But it hasn't been bad. And then I have Counter Magic. I have 2 Mystical Dispute, which is usually pretty good. Occasionally the mana leak, it's just a mana leak for 3 mana, and then sometimes mana leak is offline when you're playing against really long games. So it's not insane, but it's been really good, especially against like spirits. Spirits is trying to temper you out with spell quellers and things like that, and Mystical Dispute has been pretty insane against those decks. 2 Disdainful Strokes against just random stuff that casts expensive things. It's great against control decks. Yeah, it's been good. And then 2 Vetoes, Dovin's Veto, which has also been great. Uh, and then finally have 1 random Pithing Needle. I know the cat combo is no longer in Pioneer, but Pithing Needle is just really versatile card overall. So I'm leaving it in here. It's been solid. Yeah, that's about it. So let's start a league.